Hey there guys, we're taking a look at Fallout 4 running on the AMD Ryzen 550-500U. Now the game is currently running at 1080p with the absolute lowest settings, even like lower than the default lowest preset because that still has the screen space reflections on at the high settings. So this is with that off as well. So this is the lowest that you can go at 1080p and the performance is pretty passable. While roaming around the open waste, you're going to be hitting averages that are going to be around the 30 FPS range for the most part. While it's certainly not going to be amazing to play like this, and Diamond City and locations like that are going to tank this FPS to the lower end of that 30 FPS range, it's still going to be a overall pretty decent experience, especially if you're used to playing these kinds of games on consoles. I mean, growing up, I powered through Fallout 3 on the PlayStation 3, which was the worst system to play it on because the game was originally designed for the Xbox 360. It was a terrible port to the PlayStation 3, and it was very prone to crashing, especially in the later parts of the game. Pretty much the bigger your save file became, the more likely you were to crash, and every time you would go through a door, it was kind of a gamble on whether or not you were going to get a crash or not. So comparing that experience to this, well, I mean, this feels like it's leagues better. It's not going to be the most amazing experience, but the frame times are consistent enough, and the 1% lows are high enough that I don't think it's really going to be that much of an issue to play like this. Like I said, the areas that are going to struggle the most are going to be like Diamond City, and it's going to be locations where there's a lot less action that you're actually doing, and it's mostly just walking around talking to NPCs. So having lower FPS there is going to be not as big of an issue. That being said, if you do want a rock solid FPS experience, then you can drop things down to 720p. As you can see here, we're getting just much better averages, and the gameplay itself is just going to feel a lot smoother. Now, I was playing with a controller, so aiming was difficult, but it was easy enough to do with the 60 FPS average that we were getting most of the time. 1% lows of 45 are pretty much telling you that we're only occasionally going to have dips. It's going to be pretty much rock solid almost the entirety of the time. And really, this gives you headroom for like areas like Diamond City where the FPS is going to tank, where it's just not going to be as terrible of an experience here. It is, of course, going to dip into the 30 range, but it's not going to be a terrible experience as opposed to playing at 1080p where you're already bordering on the edge of comfortable playability and you will have dips that go into unsavory territory. Now, you could also set the game to 900p and kind of just claw back a little bit of resolution and, you know, take a little bit of a hit in FPS. Personally, I don't really like that because I feel like you're getting the worst of both worlds in that you still get the blurriness because it's not 1080p native, and you're getting a worse FPS experience than just going for 720p, where here you're getting a pretty much rock solid 60 FPS experience. But anyways, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.